We can use a similar method that we've been using, in other words, a method of simplifying, in order to solve different types of problem. So our first problem, there are 75 people at a concert. If 2/5 of them wear glasses, then how many of them wear glasses? So we need to find out what 2/5 of 75 people is. Now notice that sometimes you'll see your fraction written in a slanted form as a 2 with a kind of slidey line 5. You must always rewrite it as 2 divided by 5, because you'll see there that it's going back and looking exactly the same as your divided by sign. Okay, so 2/5 of 75. Well, if you see the word of, that means we're going to multiply things together. So we can now rewrite this as its multiplication sum. So we've got 2/5 times 75. And 75 is like 75 over 1. So just as before, we find the prime factors of our numbers. 2 is prime, and 5 is prime. 75 isn't, so we need to find the prime factors of 75. So 75 can be said, it can be 3 times 25. 3 is prime, 25 isn't, 25 is 5 times 5, so we've got 5 times 5. Okay, so now we write it as its prime factors. So 2/5 times 3 times 5 times 5 over 1. Now, just as before, these two separate fractions can be combined together to make one big fraction. So that's with our 2 times 3 times 5 times 5, and 5 times 1, 5 times 1. Now we look and see whether we can simplify. And we check to see we have actually a 5 on the top there and a 5 on the bottom. So now we can rewrite that fraction, because it doesn't really matter the order when we're multiplying things. And let's put those 5s first. So a 5, then a 2 times 3 times 5, and then we've got a 5 times 1. Now we can separate it again. So that's going to give us 5 over 5 and 2 over 1. 3 doesn't seem to be anything, so it must be over 1. 5 doesn't seem to be everything, so it must be 1. And here we're given our opportunity to simplify. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. And now we can bring it all back together again. So we can write it as one big fraction. So that's 1 times, that's just 1, so that's 2 times 3 times 5 over 1, basically. So now we have 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 times 5, which is 30. So 30 people at the concert wear glasses. So we'll have to write 30 people as our answer.